Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's class titled Worthy, Understanding Self-Esteem and Impostor Syndrome. Now, the reason why we're having this class is because I've noticed that one of the things that hinders us as humans, based on my conversations with different people and taking myself and my experiences into consideration, is that sometimes we feel that we're not good enough. Sometimes we feel like we have to bend. Sometimes we feel like we don't measure up, we don't level up. And then, these are beliefs. And if we continually dwell on certain beliefs, they begin to manifest. And this is contrary to who we are. So I just thought that it would be nice to have a conversation around this and, to share some of the tips that have helped me and that has helped other people as well. So I want to say welcome to each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. I trust that it will be worth your time. Okay, so Worthy, as the front cover of our presentation shows, Understanding Self-Esteem and Impostor Syndrome. So we'll be guided by this outline. So we're going to take a test. Some people be like, oh, I've never felt imposter syndrome and all of that. Well, that's very valid. But I think that, when we look at some of these questions in this test, we'll be able to tell. We'll do a brief introduction. We'll do some common manifestations of imposter syndrome, the definition, how do you deal with it? We'll look at a quote that has been very encouraging and supportive for me. We'll take some affirmations. If we have time, we'll do a case study, and it might just be one of us sharing our experience, which would actually be very, very great. It's better we share real life scenarios than just, theoretical examples, and then we can do question and answer, and then we'll talk about the next class. So are we ready? Are we good to go? If you know you are ready and you're excited by this outline already, can we put 1 in the chat box if you know that you're excited? Fantastic. Thank you very much. That shows that we're following. This is great. And if you also have friends that you think that they should be here, you just quickly share a link with them and, tell them to put in your name so that we can capture that appropriately. Thank you once again. Here we go. Okay, so this is the test. I want us to take this test. So the answer is just give a yes or a no. So I think we have 6 questions here. And I'm just going to briefly read them. You can, do a mental note of how many yeses and how many no's that you have. So the first one is, do you ever feel you don't deserve your achievements? Like all of your achievements. So some just think, oh, I'm lucky. So if it's a yes, fine, yes. Okay. Do you ever worry that people will find out you are secretly not worthy? So this means that do you feel that people will still find out that you don't even know this work that you are doing, that they're going to just discover that you are a fraud, that you're just an imposter, that you're not good enough, that you do not measure up? I like you to answer the question also. So if it's a yes, put a yes. If it's a no, put a no. You can decide to share it with us, or you can decide to share it privately, whichever way. Next is, after a success, do you dismiss it as just good luck or timing? Do you feel like after you just, achieve something, you just feel like, it was just God that helped me, or it was just good luck, or even though I prepared, I don't think it was my preparation that helped me, it was just God, you just dismiss it, you just discount it like it was nothing. The next is, do you think you have tricked others into thinking you are more successful than you are? When your friends hail you and they hype you, and you're like, now God, oh, it's not me, oh, it's God, oh. You say you're looking good, you say, now God, oh, as if it's God that bought the cream, or, made some recommendations for the products to use, Next is, do you apologize for yourself? Or do you apologize? Sorry for that typo. Do you apologize to yourself, even if you didn't do anything wrong? You're just apologizing. You're just feeling sorry. Well, I've not felt that way, so I sort of cannot really relate to this. And sometimes, do you think you or others overvalue your success? Like, when you achieve something, and then there's a way somebody will just come and hype it, and you're like, is it more than this thing? It's just something, it's just small thing and all of that. So these are 6 questions. And if you know that you have more than 2 yes, if you have more than 2 yes, just say yes. So if you have more than 2 yes to all of these questions, it simply means that you have experienced some form of imposter syndrome. It means that you have experienced the imposter phenomenon, the way they call it, or you have felt like a fraud. So the truth is that you're not alone. And even me, who is speaking with you, I've also, had more than, in fact, when I was preparing this slide and I stumbled on this, I felt like it was very good. I'm like, oh yes, I have more than 2 yeses. So I mean, I think I face it all the time. But so this is just for us to, this is just a starter, just to prep us, because some people are like, I can't relate, I've never felt this thing, I don't even know what it means. So if you've had more than 2 yeses, then it means that you have experienced some form of imposter syndrome. So moving on, our introduction, many of the things that limit us in our lives are more internal than external. And it is your perception that will create your reality ultimately. I don't want us to be looking at all of that. That's why. Because it is you who is feeling like, I don't deserve it. It is you who is feeling like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. It is you who is dismissing things. It is you. If you look at everything, it is you. You're like the chief player in this scenario. You are the striker, midfielder. I mean, the field of play revolves all around you. So if you look at it, it is you. It is not just even external factors or now your environment. It is your mind. It is psychological. So, we said understanding self-esteem and imposter syndrome. And the reason why it's important for us to delve a bit to self-esteem is so that we understand the link between self-esteem and imposter syndrome. Because if you have a healthy self-esteem, it's not like you're not going to experience or suffer some form of imposter syndrome, but it will not be as much. So let's define self-esteem. So self-esteem is just an overall opinion of yourself. It's what I believe about myself. What am I, the way we put it, doing a SWOT. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Like, yourself. When somebody comes to tell you that, oh, you're good at this, and the person is, very emphatic at it, you're able to say that, no, this is not what I'm good at. I am better at this, but I can learn this. So self-esteem, understanding your self-esteem is saying, I know what I'm good at. I also know that I'm able to learn, because if you have a good self-esteem, it means that you would also have a good mindset. You know that there are possibilities and that you can grow. So no one can just come and tell you or give you an opinion of who you are. Of course, there's this metrics that talks about your hidden self, your open self, the blind spots, and what you know about yourself, what people know about you, what you don't even know about yourself, maybe some things that you not identify. But the way you can have a healthy self-esteem is when you do a critical and a proper self-assessment of yourself, where you're able to say, I know what all my strengths are, I know what my weaknesses are, and then to always play to your strengths and not fall for your weaknesses. But as much as you're playing to your strengths, you're also improving on your weaknesses. You're not saying, oh, it's my weakness and it's just my weakness. No, you're finding ways to enhance it. You're finding ways to make it better. In the second paragraph here, it says that self-esteem is shaped by our thoughts, the relationships, experiences, and this is very also inclined to based on the culture we have found ourselves, the religion, our religious affiliation, and our social status. Now, so this just has to mean that sometimes your self-esteem has to do with your culture. For example, if you're a Yoruba person, you know how they always say Yoruba people and respect, they're always greeting. The Igbo people as well also have their own definition of respect, but it might not be like the Yoruba people. So when somebody says, oh, you're an Igbo person comes into a Yoruba association or a Yoruba environment, and the person greets but doesn't prostrate or kneel down, to them, that is disrespect. But to the Igbo person, that is not disrespect. But this is because our cultural affiliations and contextual affiliation sort of defines what these things are. But you know for yourself that I'm a respectful person, and it has nothing to do with whether I kneel down or not. But sometimes you also have to adapt. You cannot just be rigid and just be high-handed. You know how they say, if you're in the with the Romans, act like the Romans, like give to Caesar what is Caesar, right? So there are ranges of self-esteem that you can have. You can have an overly high self-esteem. This is where you see maybe proud people, arrogant people, overconfidence, or narcissists. This is where they sort of fall under. And then you have people with low self-esteem, and then you have people with a healthy self-esteem, or should say a balanced self-esteem. And the truth is sometimes it usually tips, like healthy and high. Sometimes, how they say there's a borderline between confidence and overconfidence, that kind of thing. So sometimes we experience it. But the truth is, for the sake of this class, one of the things that we're going to pay attention to is the low self-esteem part. Because I feel like you're sabotaging yourself. You're telling yourself that you're not good. Like you mentioned here, it is shaped by your thoughts. That's why we say it is internal. Most of the things that limit you, they are internal. Of course, there will be external voices. People would give their opinion, but then it's left for you to now say, I'm going to dwell on this opinion, or I'm just going to brush it by. I'm going to develop a thick skin and not let what anyone says, affect me. So what are the signs or low self-esteem? The truth is, we might experience or exhibit this one way or the other. We might not have it in totality. So sometimes we show for low self-esteem, but it's not a permanent place. It might just be in some environment. For some of us in our organizations, we're superstars and all of that. But if they should bring a white person, some of us might feel like, oh, this person is better than me. But this person is coming from the overseas. This person has some exposure that I don't have. This person might have some privileged information that I don't have. And before the white person came, you had a good self-esteem. And now that this white person is here, you feel like, this person is better. And then you begin to think lowly of yourself. So these things happen. So they are not like casting stones to say, sometimes you never know until some new scenario happens. And then that's why you always have to constantly check yourself. You might have a healthy self-esteem and you find yourself in an environment where everybody is a high flyer, and maybe you're still trying to find your feet and you're like, oh my God, I don't even fit in. Everybody's just, up there and I'm not good enough. No, you are still finding yourself. Once you find your footing, you see that on the list of your strengths, there are things that you can leverage to show that you are also important and that you're a value-adding member of that community or that body. So signs of low self-esteem: isolation. Sometimes when we go for events, we just go and sit down in one corner and not talk to anybody. Sometimes it might not necessarily be that you're not feeling too well or you're not in a good mood or all of that. Maybe it's a tech event and you're not really a tech person and you don't understand Web3, blockchain, and all of those flows. And you just tell yourself, this is not for me. Let me just stay on my own. So the reason why you're doing that is because you feel, I cannot contribute. Even if you cannot contribute, to an extent, you can learn. So why not join conversation? Don't just go to a place and just sit down on your own and be quiet and be absorbed in yourself and just pressing your phone. Some of us do this unconsciously and you don't know that it's a sign. It's actually a sign. Approach a body of people, greet them, introduce yourself. They ask you questions, you be like, okay, so I'm not really, knowledgeable in this area, and that's why I'm here. It's all about how you present your answer, how you shape it, how you carry yourself. So don't be isolated. Don't sit down there, because the reason why you're doing that is you sort of feel like you'll be rejected. There's this fear of rejection that, oh, if I go there now, I say I don't know. There's a difference between saying I don't know and, oh, I'm willing to improve, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to understand what this is about. It's all about your perspective. What are you saying? You know how there's this illustration of a glass with water and they call different people to give their perspective. Someone say, oh, it's half full. Other one say it's half empty. Everyone giving their opinion. Always look on the positive side. As much as you also want to be real, you know that you should be positive. And for some other people, say you are shy. sometimes we never really kind of understand when people say you're shy. Sometimes I really don't understand it. You come into a gathering of people saying something. Why not listen in? Why not join? Why not say you have a voice and you should use it? You're not meant to just keep it. Except you don't have anything to say, of course, doesn't mean that you should now open your mouth and start talking or something. But give your idea. For example, say in class or at an event, there's a question that is being asked, and then you know the answer, or you have an answer in your mind. You're not sure if it's the correct one or not the correct one, but you do not raise up your hand. Then when somebody raises up their hand and maybe they miss it, and that's the answer that you have, you'll be like, thank God, I'm not the only one that doesn't know it. So I'm not the only failure, or I'm not the only one. No. So yeah, you only fail once, or you give a wrong answer once, but afterwards you would learn the right thing and then you're liberated. What if nobody says that wrong answer? You will go home with the wrong answer in your mind. That's not learning. That's not learning, right? Another thing is false humility. Some of us, the reason why we respect somebody is because person maybe has something that we do not have. Some of us think, oh, it's because they have this person has a car, so this person seems to be better than me. I do not have a car. Or this person has traveled abroad, or this person has a degree that I do not have. So let me just respect the person. You'll be greeting the person, good morning, sir, good morning, sir. But you know that the day you get that degree, or the day you buy that car, you're not actually going to respect the person the way you're respecting the person now. So false humility is a sign. Another thing is imitation. I need us to know that, of course, there are things about people that you want to embrace. There are things about people that you also want to see in your life, but you cannot just copy and paste everything. So much so that you want to talk the way a person talks, you want to eat the way a person, like you just want to imitate everything. I need you to know that there is no one like you, and there's a uniqueness that you bring into this world. So if you copy somebody, the best you can be is an imitation, is a copy. So why not just be original? Oh, you like the way this person speaks. Is there something about the person's diction? Is there something about the person's eloquence? Okay, how can I add it to mine? You don't have to speak exactly like that person. So don't completely, imitate everything. You can't even do that. I mean, it's a struggle. It's a stress that is not even worth it. So why not be yourself? You're not one in a million. You're not one in a billion. You're one in 8 billion. So it shows that you count. Your statistics count. You are different. You can never copy someone completely. So please, imitation is a sign of low self-esteem. And the truth is, we are all flawed. So there's something that person is also fighting, or something that person is struggling with, that maybe comes easy for you. So why not find, that's why self-assessment is very key. Why not find the area of your strength, and build on it? The next thing is undue peer pressure. And I think it's something that is very, peer pressure has always been prevalent, but I think it's something that is more prevalent in these times that we found ourselves, where you see people, maybe wearing a tattoo, or people doing something, and you ask them why. It's not like there's anything bad with wearing a tattoo, but when you ask them why, they really don't have a why. Their why is because my friend did it. You don't know why your friend did it. You don't know what drove your friend to do it, and you just copied the person. It's very important for you to define your life's journey. And that's why I was saying self-assessment is key, so that you have a why for what you are doing. You're not just doing something because everybody is doing it. You know how in secondary school, you have science class, commercial, and arts, and they know your friends because everybody's like smart, everybody's going to science class, and then you're smart, and then the teacher says you should be in science class, and you're saying, no, I don't want to be in science class. But oh, brilliant. Excuse me, sir. And it happened to me. I said, excuse me, sir. No, I don't want to be in science class. I want to be in commercial and arts, if possible. But I was able to borrow literature from the arts, because that was really the only thing that I liked there. But don't let anybody, that's why you need to know yourself. Don't let anybody define you. Everybody's going to science class, everybody has to go. All your friends have jackpot. It looks like you're the only one that is here. very good, except you have your own strong reasons and why. Don't let what everybody is doing affect you. And you know, the thing about this peer pressure thing is that sometimes it is forceful. Like your friends will say, I'm doing this, I'm applying to this. Are you also interested? Come and apply, come and do this. The scholarship is in Germany or is in Australia or is somewhere. And you just do it because I just want to live in Nigeria. I just want to go. I just want to. You can't even really see the big picture. You cannot tell where you will go from there. But your friend already has it all mapped out, has it all figured out. Another thing is peer pressure can be subtle. Sometimes in your environment, you know, everybody in your environment. I think there's one way or the other, we all fall victims of peer pressure. The good thing is if you're in a good environment, the peer pressure will be good. If you're in a bad environment, the peer pressure is going to be bad. I remember when somebody asked me what I was writing, I can. And honestly, the reason why I was doing was because I was interning in PwC, that's PricewaterhouseCoopers, and then I liked when everyone came back from study leave and they're congratulating them. And because I found myself in that environment where everybody is chartered accountant, I just felt like, oh, I would like to do this. And I started it. And it was good for me. At that time, good pressure. And I did it. So peer pressure would always be there, but it's very important that you're able to discern. That's why sometimes when I come back from work during the day and I just sit down maybe a bit to meditate, I just try to run through my day, some sort of detoxification, so that if there's any horrible thing, have you ever found yourself talk or speak in a way and you just tell yourself, no, that's not me, and you mention the name of your colleague that speaks that way? You're already being influenced, whether you know it or not, whether you planned to be influenced or not. And you know, me, one thing I do is I consciously tell myself that, oh no, I need to watch it. This is not right. And if it's something that is right, I'm like, okay, I can build on it to something that I can copy. And then being critical and judgmental. Sometimes we don't even know when we're already jealous of somebody and we're just critical and judgmental, especially driving on Lagos Road. You know, when it's rain and then somebody is driving past and then it's splash water on you and you're like, what is he even driving? What is this? He's driving something. And you honestly cannot even blame this person because sometimes there was really nothing that they could do. They would have splashed. You know, the way I renewed my mind to this is when somebody splashes water on me and I really know that there was nothing they could have done. They tell me sorry or they don't tell me sorry. I just tell myself that, you need to brace up for it because you're also going to splash water on people sooner or later, whether you know it or not. So, you know, I just look for a positive aspect to it to get better. So if this has made sense, like this particular slide has made sense and very clear, I would like for you to put in the chat box, good to go, good to go, good to go. If I just get one response, that would be nice so that we can proceed. And if we have any questions, please, you can also drop it in the chat box. You don't have to wait to the end so that you don't forget and then you can guide our conversation. So moving on. So next is one of the major issue now is imposter syndrome. So what imposter syndrome is not. What imposter syndrome is not. So imposter syndrome is not a diagnosable mental disorder. You cannot go to the hospital and they will say, hey, they take the stethoscope or something and say, oh, what's wrong with this person? Is imposter syndrome. Or it doesn't, it's not a reflection of your actual ability or achievement. Because when I see you as a person, I cannot see, if you have imposter syndrome, I can't see it on your forehead. It's not going to show. Okay, we would respond to that, Obianuju. And then you cannot say imposter syndrome is for a certain tribe or culture or people in a certain profession. It's everywhere. And it's not a permanent state of mind. So that's the fantastic thing. We can all experience imposter syndrome, but we don't dwell there. We move on. It is when you continually dwell there that it leads to other things like anxiety disorder, and then it can lead to depression. That's why you actually have to be aware that there's such a thing as imposter syndrome. And then we're also going to be sharing in this class strategies and ways that we can overcome this imposter syndrome. So what then is this imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern where individuals doubt their accomplishments and have a persistent fear of being exposed as a fraud. So imposter syndrome the way I'll put it is when you're always attaching your successes or your wins to external factors. You know, when you achieve something, you're like, no, it was not me, oh, it was just luck. I was just fortunate. It just happened. It just did it. Like you downplay your efforts. You downplay your inputs. Like you didn't even make anything happen. You just attribute it to other people, other things, other factor. And I saw a quote that struck me, and it says that the fact that something is easy to do is different from the fact that it was easy for you to do. So you come and say something is easy. It's because it was easy for you to do. Doesn't mean that it will be easy for another person. For example, if you wake me up anytime of the day, or just call me anytime, 5 minutes to and tell me, Stella, I have an event and I need you to anchor it. It is natural. It's natural for me because something that I love to do. Like I eat, I breathe events, hosting, programs, content creation. It's something that is easy for me. But for some other people, they will struggle. And most of the time, I always downplay it, you know, when they tell me to come and anchor an event, and I do it and I get feedback like, oh, you should be on radio, you shouldn't be here, you should be doing this. I'm like, no, there's nothing, no. At some points, I literally do not understand why I should be paid for hosting events. So I'm like, this thing is normal. Like, I can do it. You don't have to pay me. Just call me. I will do it. But that's very, very wrong. The fact that it's easy for me doesn't mean that it is easy for everyone. Right? So imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern. So when you say psychological, it means that it has to do with the mind. So if it starts in the mind, it means that you have to kill it in the mind. It has to end in your mind, right? So perfection, some of the common triggers of imposter syndrome is perfection and then fear of failure. You're afraid when they say, oh, come and do something, you're like, I'm not sure I can do it. For somebody to say, come and do something, that's why I say you need to have carried out a self-assessment, like know yourself, know your strengths and your weaknesses. So when somebody tells you, come and do something in the area of your strengths, and you find yourself hesitant, just know that, oh, it's just imposter syndrome that is there. It's different if they're telling you to come and do something in the area of your weakness, where you know that, this thing, no, I'm not good at it. No. So for example, now I told you that events and management comes natural to me. And then people have celebrated me there. And then my boss now says, I think you would be very good with graphic design. And sir, I don't understand. No, graphic design. You can't tell me. I know myself. Is it that I can't learn graphic design? Of course I can learn it. But when having an understanding of myself, is this relevant for me in the big picture? It is a good skill, but it might be a distraction. And I'm able to, prove my case and say, this is why and why and why I think that I should not do this. Right? Play to your strengths. But if there is a need why you really have to do that, maybe your boss is able to compel you and maybe sell something to you that you've never seen, then you can now decide maybe you want to take it up. But have an understanding of the area. Because if you take up the graphic design and you fail, you now begin to feel like an imposter syndrome. And the truth is you are. Because you actually do not know graphic design. That's why we say, if you're judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it would forever be a failure, because fishes were not designed to climb trees. Fishes were never designed to climb trees. It is monkeys that should climb trees. So if you also tell a monkey to come and swim, the monkey has already failed on arrival. Like, the monkey has failed powerfully. So play to your strength. Play to your strength. And that doesn't mean staying in your comfort zone, because even in your comfort zone, there are layers. You can go through strides. But let's not say everything here already. Let's make progress. The next paragraph says, imposter syndrome can be addressed and managed through self-reflection, compassion, and seeking support when needed. So, of course, imposter syndrome would always come every now and then. But one thing that can help you manage it or address it is self-reflection. For example, if you're in the career space where you always have to write exams, you know, to maybe get to the next level. Say somebody in the civil service where you always have to write an exam to get promoted or the next level, and then the exam is coming and you're feeling jittery. It's okay to feel jittery, but it's when you self-reflect, you tell yourself, I'm in level 9. I wrote an exam in level 7. I passed. I wrote an exam in level 8. I passed. So level 9, I would write it to and I'll pass and I'll get to level 10. You are reflecting and remembering that I've done this before. If I've done it before, I can do it again. And then you reflect on, okay, so what did I do differently? What did I do then to pass? Okay, can I reinforce on that? You're reflecting. So you're already killing that imposter syndrome already in your mind because it started from your mind. Imposter syndrome would come as a thought. When you dwell on it so much, it begins to amplify. It now begins to show in your emotions. And then your emotions will affect your actions. And of course, your actions will show your results. And then it becomes a circle. Now, we'll still get to that. But what I've just said is an acronym called TEAR. Like, you know, when you cry, it's your tears come out of your eye. But this is TEAR, TEAR. So it starts with a thought. If you don't kill that thought, if it's a negative one, it will show in your emotion. You begin to become anxious. You are afraid, anxiety. And when you're afraid and you're doing something, when somebody can call you and even ask you, what's your name? You won't even know your name because you're anxious, you're afraid, you're not acting in your normal state. So it affects your actions. And if your action is affected, definitely the end result would not be good. So it can be managed through self-reflection and also self-compassion. Sometimes because you failed, maybe you failed. I remember when I wrote my ICANN exam, the skills level, there are 6 papers there, but because I did 8 years, I was exempted. So I wrote 5 papers. I wrote 5 papers at once and I failed 1. And I was so hard on myself because I was like, why did you fail this paper? But if I really wanted a reason to take over, I knew that I didn't prepare very well for that particular course that I failed because I was always missing that class. And so because I was so hard on myself, I was so, you know, I couldn't even forgive myself. I left the exam for 2 years and I didn't write it. And I was telling myself that I was done, I wasn't going to write it again and all of that. This was me just acting irrational because I eventually sat down and I reflected on it and I said, okay, so what could I have done differently? What could have been better? And I said, okay, if I attended my classes, I didn't miss my classes and I practiced, I will pass. And 2 years later, I wrote the exam and I passed that particular paper. Currently, I've been battling with audits. In fact, this is me being vulnerable here. I have failed audits, I think 4 or 5 times now, and I want to write it again next month. But the truth is, if I don't prepare well, I'm still going to fail. And I've reflected over these times that I've failed. And I know what is making me fail. So somebody cannot come and call me a failure because I've been failing audits 5 times. Even if you use this as a shade or try to catch a sub with me, I'm not going to feel bad because I know that if I prepared well, then I'm going to pass. So you need to self-reflect so that when people are saying things that you're not, because you've done a healthy assessment, you know that, oh, if I prepared, I'll pass. I'm not a failure. And I just thought that it was also very important for us to also know that seek support. You are not alone. What you feel like you're going through, somebody has gone through it before. And then the opposite of imposter syndrome is the Dunning-Kruger effect. So there are some people that they only know so little, but the way they amplify it, they're so confident. And that's where that, I don't know if it's quotes or something where they say the empty barrels make the loudest noise. So let's say this is a big circle. They only know one pie. Okay, so let's say use a pizza. You know how a pizza is, let's say it's made up of 6 tarts. They only know 1 tart, but the way they will amplify that 1 tart, even you that knows 4/6, you'll be afraid, only for you to now find out that, oh my God, this person doesn't even know as much as I thought that he knew. And you that knew 4/6, you're having imposter syndrome. So that's the Dunning-Kruger effect. So if this has made sense to you, please also put it in the chat box. And I don't know, write whatever adjective, you know, makes sense. So now there are different ranges or signs of imposter syndrome. You might say, oh, no, this is not me. I'm just a perfectionist. No, me, I just want to be an expert. No, me, I'm just this one. These are the signs, and we're going to see them. The first one is a perfectionist. Now, a perfectionist is suffering from imposter syndrome, because if you look at this picture here, everybody said positive, 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 just one negative. And you forgot all the positives. And you say, it's true. I'm a failure. Oh, it's true. Like, how? How does that even make any sense? Because one person gave a negative feedback, you sideline all the positives, and then try to stay with the negative. Can you see that something is actually wrong from the mind? Are we saying don't take the negative feedback? No, take it, but don't let it overshadow the fact that you're good. Maybe you did a classwork or a presentation, and then you're giving 8/10, and you're sulking because I'm sure we've had those type of people in class where they give us our test sheets, and everybody's just sad, and then somebody comes to meet you and say, "What did you score?" And you show the person 8/10, and the person will say, "Everybody come and see this person. This person is not even serious. She got 8/10 and she's crying. We that even got 4 or 5. We thank God though, average." So please, perfectionism is not good, because perfection is boring. Imagine everybody's a perfectionist. So what difference are you coming to come and make? What's improvement? What addition? What spice? What difference are you going to come and add? Instead, you should embrace progress over perfection. Progress over perfection. Am I making progress? Am I better than I was yesterday? If I rated myself yesterday, I got 70%. Today, do I have 71%? Today, do I have 72%? You want to look at that, and when you say, we beat that person. Honestly, I've been there. In fact, Peace and I, classmates in master's class, in fact, we did it very well. In fact, there was one time I wanted to beat Peace. In fact, the way I looked at her, this bombastic side eye, like, are you kidding me? You had this choir complaining. What should I now do? So please, it's good to aim for an excellence work, but excellence is a journey. So don't stay there and say, if it's not perfect, it's not going. No, progress. Keep making progress. Keep making progress. Next is the natural genius. Now, I got this quote from Maya Angelou, and I thought that it was brilliant. She said that she has written 11 books, but each time she sees things, they're going to find out. They've run a game on anybody. Can you imagine somebody that's written 11 books wants to write another book, and she's saying that they will find out that they're going to find me out? So you're like, I can't relate. I don't understand. I've not even written one book. In fact, I'm struggling to write one page, because writing is a gift. It comes easy for some people. For some other people, it's a struggle, right? So please don't, say, don't compare yourself with somebody. I think that's the word here. For example, IMA is here. IMA is my church member. She sings beautifully well. Me, because I speak beautifully well. And she now say, because I speak beautifully well, I should be able to sing beautifully well. Without training, with cold water that I'm drinking, I'm not going for training. And I want to compare myself. I'm on a long thing. Can I get to where she is? Yes, I can get there. But if IMA is also someone who is constantly improving, when I'm getting to where she is, she has already moved further. So why not just stay in your place of genius and keep working your magic and keep improving? Every time I hear this imposter syndrome thing, what just comes to my mind is lifelong learning. Are you one who just say, I think I've known and I've known enough? Am I settling? No, aim for more. And then we have the experts. Now, this name here it's actually Sheryl Sandberg. The person who created the quotes actually made a mistake. It's S. She's the COO of Facebook. I think she's former now. She said, there are days when I wake up feeling like a fraud, not sure I should be where I am. Can you imagine? She's feeling like a fraud. She's not sure she's where Facebook, that's Meta, one of the biggest or most capitalized company on the S&P Fortune 500 company. When you're looking for Fortune 500 company, you call Meta. And the COO is saying there are days where I wake up feeling like I should not be here. Of course, there are times where you would feel like, oh God, I think that you have done too much for me, or maybe you just, gave me double promotion. I feel like I should not be here. What? The fact that you are even there show that you've put in some work. The only thing is that you have to improve, and you have to be kind with yourself. Pat yourself on the back when you've done something. That's why when we see the lizard, when the lizard jumps from a high place and falls to the ground, it will nod his head twice and tell himself that if nobody celebrates me, I will celebrate myself. I am doing well. So sometimes you need to relax and tell yourself, baby girl, baby boy, you are doing well. You are doing well. Your competition is nobody. Your competition is you. Where was I last year? Of course, you don't want to be the same yesterday, today, and forever. You're not supposed to be static. You're supposed to make progress. If I have to do this role that I was in before, if God forbid, you were promoted, if you have to go back to that former role, are you going to do it differently? Are you going to do it better? That is what you're supposed to be aiming for. So don't say experts. When you hear the name experts, you think that they know everything. They cannot know everything, because the thing about knowledge is the more you know, the more you see that you do not know. So you just have to keep learning, keep going. And if you know how the world is constantly changing. The knowledge that was maybe relevant last year might not be relevant this year again. Early last year was great. Everybody was feeling good, feeling like a genius. By the end of last year, artificial intelligence came, ChatGPT came, and it changed everything. So would you say because ChatGPT came, you're no longer an expert? No, you're an expert, and then you find how to leverage ChatGPT to do that job. So even though they say, oh, ChatGPT will take the job of a copywriter, will take the job of designers, and all of that, you need to find, how can I put my touch? When technologies come, they come to improve our work and make it better. Right? Not that it's going to take away your job. No, instead, why not look for the opportunity in that and don't fret? Expertise does not mean they know it 100%. Just like when somebody says they study medicine. Some people now decide to specialize. Oh, I want to be an ophthalmologist for the eyes. I want to be a dentist. Oh, I want to be a surgeon. Oh, I want to be an anesthesiologist. Oh, I want to be a pediatrician. Oh, I want to be a gynecologist. I want to be an obstetrician. Find your paths. The field is wide. So find your path. Next is the superwoman or superman. I really like this quote from Michelle Obama. She said, I still have a little imposter syndrome. Imagine Michelle Obama, the first Black, white first lady of the United States of America, is saying she has imposter syndrome. So this shows you that it happens to even the best of us. If you consider somebody, if you say you want to rank people like the best species of human, the finest in the world, at that time, you would mention Michelle Obama. And she's telling you here that I still have a little imposter syndrome. So it will come and go. It will not stay. It's transient. She said, I still have a little imposter syndrome. It doesn't go away. That feeling that you shouldn't take me seriously. What do I know? I share that with you because we all have doubts in our ability about our power and what that power is. It's true. You would always, doubt yourself. You always second guess yourself. Before this class started, I was talking to a friend and I was even saying, I'm even feeling imposter syndrome as well, because I'm like, what do I want to tell you? Some of you even have more experience of this imposter syndrome than I do. But you cannot just keep your voice, because somebody around you might be suffering from the same thing and you're not even speaking up and you're not even helping the person. But I'm doing this because I'm also able to share how my journey is and how it has been for me. Next is the rugged individualist. Please, if you can hear me, can we put 2 in the chat box if you can hear me? Just to be sure that I'm not alone. The rugged individualist. And so this quote is from, thank you very much, IMA. This quote is from Lupita. It says, I go through imposter syndrome with every role I play. I think winning an Oscar might in fact have made it worse. Now I have achieved this. What am I going to do next? You know how you achieve something and it's such a big feat and you're like, where do I go from here? I can't drop the ball. I have to, work harder. And that's what imposter syndrome does. You achieve something and you just tell yourself that, I need to work harder. I need to prove myself. I need to prove a point. Please, that's imposter syndrome. Just continually do your best. Give it your best. give your best shot. Just know that you're constantly improving. You're not saying I've arrived, arrival mentality. There's nothing more to learn. That's when we already know that you are fixed and then you are plateauing, because you always have to learn. You have to learn. You have to unlearn some things. You have to relearn some things. You constantly have to keep learning. In the past, in the ancient times, one of the ways they cured illnesses was through bloodletting, where they say if you're sick, they have to let out all the blood in your body. Imagine. But with the advancement in technology, innovation, we've seen new things come up. Oh, a vaccine for polio. Oh, how in the past, having twins used to be demonic, where they have to kill the twins. But over time, the constant thing is change. Are you willing to change? Are you adaptable? Are you agile? Are you nimble? You're not rigid. You're not saying, I am this like this. I cannot move. I cannot bend. No, you have to be receptive to change, embrace change. So I like this quote, tweet that I saw from Adam Grant. He says, imposter syndrome is a paradox. And it's very true. If you read it with me and internalize it, he said, others believe in you, but you don't believe in you, in yourself. Yet, you believe in yourself instead of them. If you doubt yourself, shouldn't you also doubt your judgment of yourself? Sometimes when you doubt yourself and say, I don't think I'm good enough, and then somebody tells you that you're good, why not think about it? When multiple people believe in you, it might just be time to believe in them. So you have told yourself, I don't think I'm good enough, but everybody is coming to your GM. Wow, great. You speak well. I love it. I do this. You do that. You second guess yourself enough. Why not just reflect? If people are saying, how for Christians, they say in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So why not move to safety instead of self-destruct? Of course, we're saying also have an idea of yourself. That's what I keep saying, is have an assessment of yourself, so that that for people at the top, sometimes they're surrounded by psychopaths where they're actually doing bad, but they're telling them you are doing good, you are doing good. Where you have a friend who is obese, maybe from eating a lot of unnecessary junk. The person is always junking, and you're not telling the person the truth, and the person say, oh my God, baby, you're looking good, baby, you slay, baby, you fine. Instead of you tell the person the truth that, my friend, the way you are eating, you're going to have a heart attack very soon. So it also has to do with you being surrounded by good people. That's when they can tell you the truth. So that's the truth. Imposter syndrome is a paradox. Others believe in you, but you don't believe in yourself. Yes, you believe yourself instead of them. If you doubt yourself, shouldn't you also doubt your judgment of yourself? Sometimes if you doubt that, I'm doing well, I'm not doing well, shouldn't you doubt them sometimes? So when people, one of the things I also try to do, I think that you can do it, is once in a while, I just put it on my status that, what do you think I'm good at? I try to put like a very quick survey and send it to like the people around me, like 10, 15 people around me, to say, what do I need to improve on? Maybe there's something that I'm not saying that I need to improve on. What do I need to do? How can I do this differently? So that's what we constantly have to do to improve. So the imposter syndrome cycle, very simple. It's something that we can relate with. So let's say you've just been promoted, or you've been given a project or a task. Just tell yourself, am I sure I can do this thing? I don't think I can do it. Or what if I fail? What if I fail? Or maybe a personal project. You're telling yourself, no, I need to have everything together before I start. And then you procrastinate, and then you see 6 months have gone. You have not started. It happens when you have a new project, and then that's what leads to the next stage. If you see the cycle this way, anxiety. Sometimes you now over prepare, you overanalyze it, analysis paralysis. In fact, you analyze it, you've done well, you play devil's advocate, you just keep analyzing till you don't even do it, or the time goes, or you procrastinate forever. Please repent. You have to do better. Do better from now. And then let's say you now find the courage, and then you do the task and you complete it. You're like, you have a sign of relief, and you're like, oh wow, thank God, project has been completed. And then next thing you begin to naturalize, it's just God that helped me. If not that person helps me, if not this that came my way, I wouldn't have achieved this. It was just by luck. You now discount your efforts, all the efforts that you put in, all the preparation, analysis, everything. You now make it look like it wasn't important. That was just sheer luck that got you there. And then you're not afraid again that, you know how they say the reward for good work is more work. Yeah. Then you tell yourself, they'll soon give me another work. Oh, if they give me, they've not brought the work yet. Oh, you're already feeling self-doubt. I don't think I'm good enough for the fact that I successfully achieved this doesn't mean that they should bring this. Who has it happened? So if you know that you have been here, this cycle has happened to you. Please, I'd like to see your comments in the chat box. Like, I can relate. I understand. You know, when you're just like, it's God that just helped me. After this, I'm not even doing again. It's just by luck that I got here. That cycle happens to us. So what are the common manifestations of imposter syndrome? Just going through this very fast. It's self-doubt. When you're constantly doubting yourself, doubting your abilities. So I'm just checking the internet. Okay. When you're constantly doubting yourself, and then sometimes overachievement, you think that I need to bag 20 degrees in front of my name. I need to have ABC, DSTV, OND, PhD, everything. Like you just think you have to overachieve before people can, you know, acknowledge you that you're doing well. And then you're always attributing your success to external factors. And then another thing is fear of failure, fear of criticism. You're afraid that what will people say? What will people say? That might just be a sign of imposter syndrome. Then comparison and discounting your effort. Then perfection. We already mentioned all of this in the course of our conversation. So here, very important, how can we overcome imposter syndrome? How can we overcome imposter syndrome? The first is focus on the facts. Focus on it. So this is just a summarized one. There's also an extended version. Now focus on the facts. Now, somebody, if you're feeling like an imposter, why not check it? Ask yourself, truly and truly, am I an imposter? You know, when you ask yourself, am I an imposter? If your answer is yes, you want to ask yourself, why or how am I an imposter? Because this is where self-reflection comes in. Why or how am I an imposter? This is the network. This is the network. Please give me one. I'll keep speaking, but I just want to stand up for a bit. So you want to ask yourself, why or how am I an imposter? What exactly is making me feel like I'm undeserving of this role? If it's a role or if it's a task, why do I feel like an imposter? You really want to check that. Why do I feel like an imposter? Is there something, is there a deficiency and all? And the reason why it's very important for you to know if you're an imposter is so that you can make adjustments when necessary. Please, can we hear me now? Because Abraham said I was breaking. So I don't know if it's better now. Please, if it's better, just tell me clear, better, if it is. If you can hear me, please just say, oh, clear. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we said focus on the facts. So let's just quickly, the case study, I think this is a good place to infuse it. So if I've just been promoted from one level, from level 1 to level 2, and I'm feeling like an imposter, I feel like I'm not good enough. I want to ask myself, why? Am I an imposter? If it's yes, why am I an imposter? I'd be like, okay, because people that are on this level, they need to have this certification or they need to have a master's degree, and I do not have it. Okay, makes sense. And if you say, no, I'm not an imposter, so you know it's just a feeling, you can work on it, speak to yourself. But if you're really an imposter, the fact that they put you there means that they see something that you cannot see. And the best you can do for yourself is to close that gap. Because most of the time, this feeling of impostorism is really a knowledge gap thing. Is that you do not know. And you're aware that you do not know. So how can I cover up? Is there an online master's that I can do? Is there a program that I can embark on in this short period of time to close this gap so that I do not feel like an imposter? So you might start out that position or that level feeling like an imposter, but you do not continue like an imposter. I don't know if this makes sense, and if it's something that you think is very correct. If you agree, I would like you to say, yes, I agree, or I don't understand, however you feel about this particular point. Focus on the fact. Are you an imposter? If yes, why? How? And if no, Can we still hear me? Please, if you can still hear me, say yes, I can hear you. Okay, great. So focus on the fact. I'm trying to round off so that we don't spend as much time, and then we can take questions. And then the next is acknowledge how you feel. So don't be in denial. If you're feeling like an imposter, acknowledge it. It's a feeling. It's network. I'm sorry about that. If I'm breaking out, try to keep repeating. And when it's also very good, please let me know. So acknowledge and validate how you feel. Acknowledge it. Okay, I'm feeling like an imposter. I'm validating this, that, okay, yes, I'm feeling like this because I have identified why I'm feeling like an imposter. I've identified this knowledge gap, or I was feeling like this because I think that the people that are in this position are better than I am. And then let go. Let go means that you have taken a decision. I'm going to level up, or I'm going to, find ways to get out of this state. And then the next is you reframe your thoughts. Like we said, using the acronym of TEAR. It is your thoughts that determines your emotions, your action, and your result. So if you're feeling it and you keep feeling that way, why not reframe your thoughts? If your mind is telling you you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not capable, you do not deserve it, you can see your same thoughts can tell you you're good enough, you can do it. Speak to your thoughts, re-engineer your thoughts, rewire your thoughts. Tell yourself, I can do it. I know I can. I'm the best. I am this. I am that. Begin to say it to yourself, because when you begin to speak these positive words to yourself, it generates, like we said, an emotion that will fuel certain actions. Because if you tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, it would keep you down. Your thoughts will weigh you down. The emotions, it would bring negativity. When you're happy, there's a way it shows up in your voice, it shows up on your face, it shows in your action, how you display. But if you tell yourself positive things, you now begin to see clearly, say, okay, I'm the head and not the tail. Okay, I am good at this. People that are good at this, what do? They do this, they do that. You are able to see steps that you can take to get better. And then you would now see the results. Then another thing is, like we said, one of the ways that you can help yourself if you see that you're suffering from imposter syndrome is to seek support. Seek support from the right persons. Don't go and seek support from somebody that will weigh you down for and say, you have always told you you're good for nothing. No, you don't want people who will use those kind of words. You want people who you believe have gone through what they are going through. You want to share with them. In this part of the world, it's expensive to have a therapist, but if you're able to have, good. But if you have a good friend as well, great. If you have a good mentor, pastor, advisor, somebody that you can speak to, it can even be your parents. They can help you. For me, one of my biggest support and winning system is my mom. I remember every time we're having an exam in school and I'm afraid of that exam, even though I've read, I still feel like, God, this thing. I will call my mother and my grandmother. And you know why I'll call my grandmother? Because every time I call my grandmother, you're always a student to my grandmother. Once you call her, when she's ending the call, you will pass your exam, you will know your book, it will be well with you. She does not miss those prayers. You will pass your exam, you will know. So I've read though, but those words, they just, give me adrenaline. Like every time I call my grandmother, I'm like, I know I will pass my exam, I will know my book. Those things keep me going. So find people who give you those words that energizes you, that strengthens you. My mom always tell me that if Obama is here, if Oprah Winfrey is here, if anybody is here, if you speak, they'll clap for you. You will make sense. So those things, like, they drive me like, I'll always make sense. I'll always make sense. So there are people that you should always, fall back to and say, at this point, I'm not feeling like it. Help me. And then learn from your peers. There are always people. So your peers might not necessarily be on the same level. There might be people that have gone ahead of you. There are people who have experienced what you're experiencing, and they can help you. They can help you. So speak to them. The extended version of how to deal with imposter syndrome. All of this will fall under what we've said in the previous slide. Positive affirmation. Rewire your thoughts. That's what that TM method is. Rewire your thoughts to get a better emotion, for a good action, to produce a better result. And then get a safe space. It might be that the environment you're in might be toxic. You need to change it, change your space. Have a vision board that tells you your goal, what you want to achieve this year. And then some people have a go-to phrase. Sometimes, when I want to do something, I just tell myself, girl, you got this. You can do it. Go for it. You can do it. So just look for your own word. It might be like, I'm able, I'm enough, I'm capable, I'll slay the day. Whatever it is, find it. Another thing might be, maybe you set very lofty standards for yourself, very high-handed standards that even when an expert sees that thing, they're like, why are you so hard on yourself? Even if there was going to be a standard organization, they would not rate this because they will give room for mistakes. They will give room for learnings, for failure, but you're failing forward. So redefine what competence is to you. Maybe the way you position competence, you told yourself that if I don't get 100, I'm a failure. So it means even if you get 98, you have told yourself you're a failure. So please, sometimes have mercy on yourself. Self-compassion. Pat yourself in the back. Please don't be too hard on yourself. Please. Except, of course, if your job is maybe a life and death job. If you're a doctor, I cannot tell you 98% because your job is very critical. You need to know it well, right? So please redefine what competence is to you. Another thing that can help you is journaling. Sometimes write on paper. How do you feel? Oh, I'm not feeling good. And because when you're writing, it helps you to put things in perspective. When you're writing, you're able to put your thoughts together to say, I'm not feeling good, I'm not feeling well because this, that. You're able to put your thoughts on. Your thoughts are not just everywhere. You're capturing your thoughts on paper. So when you sort of feel relaxed, you're able to read it to say, okay, so this is why I felt this way. And this is what I could have done better, or this is how I could have, done things differently. So journaling can help. It helps to take up that burden from your mind. It helps you to put things together. How do you feel? Write it. Another thing we've already mentioned that when we talk about peers is have a support system, a cycle or a network that can help you. Friends that you can call to say, my friends know me. If you tell me, oh Stella, I have a vision that I want to go to the moon, I'll say, so how much are we gathering? Do you have an event host for the it's the way I can support. I would never tell you that your dream is impossible because I didn't get the dream. And what we have known to be impossibility over time, they've changed. Before, work from home didn't used to be a thing. Now it's a thing. We've never seen a time where the whole world was shut down. But then COVID came and changed everything. So right now, there's really no impossibility. I know that with God, all things are possible. But also with man, some things are possible. Men have gone to the moon. Men have gone to Mars. They will keep doing great stuff, right? So there's really no impossibility, but have a network that will support you. Next thing is the power of small wins. When you win or you achieve something, celebrate it. Be your biggest cheerleader. Like cheer yourself. In fact, pop some wine, take yourself out, celebrate it. At least don't discount that feeling. You don't say, oh, it's just one of those things. Enjoy it, soak in it, bask in it. But just know that that success is for the past, but enjoy it and let it propel you to do greater things. Let it just propel you that if I've done this, okay, I can do this next. Using the analogy from the Bible, the story of David killing Goliath. Abraham, I'm with you. How many sunscreens do we need so that we don't burn? The sun is hot. I know that we are hot as well, but we also need a lot of sunscreen. I'm going to start researching on the on the kind of sunscreen to buy. And I'm sure that other people on this call, we're not in your circle. We're going to encourage you. Some of us will go with you. Some of us will be praying for you here, right? So please go for it. So celebrate those wins. Pop champagne. Celebrate it. Sometimes you also need to celebrate your effort. Sometimes you put in so much effort, but you don't get the main prize. Celebrate those efforts. They count too. They count. It is little drops that make an ocean. So they count. That experience has not gone to waste. It's something that you can use again. Something interesting that I also saw online was keep a brag file. It's you have a file where you say, sometimes I think about it like, I passed junior WAEC, I passed senior WAEC, I passed WAEC, I passed NECO, I passed JAM, I passed post-trade CME. I have sense now. I have sense. I try to tell myself this audit is because I not prepare. If I prepare for it, I'll pass it. So what is the hindrance now? Preparation is key. I just tell myself preparation. So that's your brag file. What are the top 5 things that you oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So I was saying keep a brag file. What are the things that you're grateful for? What are the things that you've achieved this year? The next thing is digital detoxification. And I think this is very, very essential, especially for some of us that, maybe live online. You're always looking at one slay queen on social media, you're looking at someone's proposal, you're looking at somebody's wedding, and you're just telling yourself, God when, God when, God when, God when. The things that God has done for you, how many of them have you even posted? So that somebody too will tell you God when. Some people are God winning your own situation. So appreciate your journey. And if you need to stay away from social media for your mental health, please stay away. If you need to block some people that are putting you under pressure, block them for the meantime while you develop capacity to say, it's not that I'm jealous of them. It's not that I'm bitter. It's not that I'm hating, but I just need to help myself. So I have some friends that, as a single person, the way they usually post their husbands and their baby, I'm like, sometimes I call them and be like, one of them is Yvonne. I'll be like, what is the problem? Let the singles breathe. It's single that we are single. We did not kiss somebody. The way you were always posting matching during Christmas. Now, this Christmas, we know your word. You're already planning photo shoot. And me, I've grown, so I'm ready for it. I'll celebrate with them and look for my own Christmas t-shirt too. And wear. And if you are single like me, we can take pictures together and say pictures from the thriving singles. Matching pajamas, yes, so peace. And then another thing is, if you're one who is always maybe isolating yourself, and maybe when you're looking for who can do this, you're not always talking. Why not try to take responsibilities just to help you deal with imposter syndrome? Responsibilities in the area of your strengths. If they say, oh, we're looking for somebody that knows how to create content. I know Peace creates a lot of content on TikTok. In fact, followership and our views there, I'm always like, if I want to give up, when I go and look at Peace, I'll be like, no, I'll not give up. I'll continue on this TikTok journey. She's a natural hairstylist on TikTok. I'm like, no, I have to do this because I can do it, or not because I cannot do it. I'm not struggling, no, and I'm not comparing because I'm not a natural hair person. So I have my own message that I'm also pushing on TikTok. But I'm not saying you get encouragement. So default to yes. If they tell you to do a task and you know that most likely your answer will be no, not because your hands are tied or you have a lot of things to do, but because you're like, I don't want anyone to find me out. I don't want them to know I can do this. Try to default to yes. And for people who are people pleasers, please just try to stay away. Learn to say no, so that, because when you're always taking on, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, you can do everything. That's why you're burning out, and then you're not achieving something, and you're like, maybe I'm really a failure. You're not a failure, you're just taking on too many things. So you need to reserve or conserve your energy and your time, and also set reasonable goals. Some of us, we can set elephant goals. You tell yourself, your salary is 150,000 naira. You now be saying, oh Lord, I want to buy a car within 6 months. 150 times 6, 900,000. If you remove your tithes with this exchange rate, of course, faith does not deny facts. So we're actually just working with realism here, but it doesn't mean that a miracle cannot happen. But if it doesn't happen in 6 months, why will you kill yourself? Because looking at your salary cannot buy a car. Or I don't understand. Is the car going to be driving you? Because I don't even know the type of car you want to buy with less than 900,000 naira. In fact, I don't know. So help me set realistic goals, smart goals for yourself, and then learn from your failure. Failure is just an event. Failure is not, you're not a failure until you decide to fail and not stay there. When you fail forward. Okay, I failed. What could I have done differently? What did I learn from this? What lessons did I pick? What can I improve on? Those are the things that we can do with failure. And the last one is give yourself permission. What shall we say to my service provider? It is well. I just really hope that our will be safe, because that's really my biggest hope. Okay, so please let's just continue so that we can end this as fast as possible, because our time is really spent already. Okay, so give yourself permission to grow, keep learning, don't get tired of learning. And there's this amazing quote that I never get tired of, and I would always be happy to share it. And it's by Marianne Williamson. So I'm sure a lot of us have heard it from Aquila and the Bee. For those of us that watched the movie, and I think we should watch it. It's something that, it's very helpful. It says that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our lights shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So you cannot just say, my gift or my talent or everything I have is just for me. No, you're meant to serve the world with your gift, because you would account for this. If you're a Christian, you know that you account for the things that God has given you. So this is an affirmation that I think that can help some of us. Just it doesn't, all of them doesn't have to apply to you. Some of them might just apply to you. Just tell yourself, maybe you have an interview or something, you're like, I am worthy and deserving of success. When you feel incompetent, you tell yourself, I am competent and skilled in my field. I trust my abilities and knowledge. I am proud of my accomplishments and the progress that I've made. I'm not defined by my mistakes, but by my resilience and ability to learn from them. I am capable of handling challenges and overcoming obstacles. I am confident in my ability to learn and grow. I deserve to be here, and I've earned my place through hard work and dedication. I am worthy of recognition and praise for my contributions. I am not an imposter, but a valuable member of this team or industry or community. Just keep saying these things to yourself. Positive words. Don't say any negativity. Positive words, please. Yes, it was repeated in Coach Carter. So I just want to ask you, how do you feel like? When you came in, when we started the class and now, how do you feel? Do you feel better? Do you really feel like you're worthy? If you know that you are worthy and you deserve every good thing that you already have and much more that will come to you, I would like us to unmute ourselves and say, I am worthy. Because I am actually grateful for every.
I am worthy.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes. Yes, we are all
I am worthy.
fantastic. 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 So this class altogether it just shows that you are the one in charge of how you feel and how you eventually feel. What I've just shared with us is some of the things that I do to myself, some of the things that I say to myself when I stand in front of the mirror and tell myself that I am worthy, I'm ready, I have wisdom, I have the right words to say, I dress the right way. Because some of the things that can help you is when you know that you know something, it makes you confident. When you also dress well, it makes you, wow, thank you, Ma. Please help me celebrate Mrs. Victoria. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to remind you again that you are worthy. You know, when we started, you had this crown with black and white, but now you can really wear the real crown with colors because you know that you are worthy. I want to thank each and every one of us for joining, for staying so far with the network glitch and everything, for staying. I really, really appreciate you. I also want to appreciate our sponsors. They were using their free Zoom. Yes, so it's not a free Zoom, it's a paid Zoom, but you know, they gave it to us to use. So we want to say thank you to Cash Game City, Team Limited. Actually, we want to say thank you. We have their CEO here and one of the staff. Thank you for joining. We really appreciate you. We pray that your business will continually grow. So I've come to the end of this class today. If we have any questions, please let's put it in the chat box. And the classes we're going to be having from now to the end of the year is in a series called the Finishing Strong series. And the reason why we put this together is because for us to start the new year, we cannot just start casually. There are some foundational things that we need to put in place. So every class that we're having now, it's a foundation building stage so that you're starting 2024 on a powerful note. So this is just the foundation. So please, everything that we've done, we had a class 2 weeks ago. Thank you, Prosper was there. I know that I'm yet to share the template. We had a class on evaluation. This will be uploaded on YouTube so that we can watch it. There's a need for us to evaluate our lives. And, you know, that evaluation is also like self-assessment to know where you are. And now that you know where you are, we took on Worthy just so that you can deal with every imposter syndrome and self-esteem issues. Next week, we're going to be having another class. Please don't forget. Next week, we're going to be having another class. And the title of that class is Budding. Budding, like to bud like a flower. Budding. Budding, boarding. So it talks about discovering, developing, and deploying your potential. So as much as possible, I think I have our emails from registration. I'm going to share these templates with us. Please, you can also chat me during the week so that I really, really find time to send it because it will help boarding. So you're able to know, okay, these are my potentials, these are how I can go about it. And then you, please, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to put it. So I look forward to seeing you next week. If this is what your time, if it was what your time, please, you can, you know, make a post on LinkedIn or any social media platform, tag me. I'm going to repost, I'm going to retweet, I'm going to reshare, you know, whatever the word is. Please, can we get this lecture? Yes, please, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. So please, just let's participate. So it looks like this session was very simplistic and, you know, straight to the point. I can't see any questions. You know, because of the network glitch, if there was a question that was dropped, it has, I lost it during the glitch. I lost it. So could you please just take down that question, take it again. If you could type it again, I don't mind. Okay. Okay, thank you, Abiola. Abiola sent me the question. So I'll just read it. Okay, Abiola says, how do you manage extreme self-criticism? Now, the question is, what exactly are you criticizing? You know, sometimes we need to have a context to this question just so that I know, what are you criticizing? Because if you're criticizing maybe, so giving an example, let's say you failed at something and you're really, really criticizing yourself. What are you criticizing yourself about? You know, there's criticism and then there's constructive criticism. Now, constructive criticism is when you're criticizing yourself, but with action steps on why that should not happen again. Now, just telling yourself, I'm not good. I failed. If you're saying, I failed. Okay, you have failed. What next? If you're going to criticize yourself, let it be constructive, let it be objective. See yourself, sometimes be empathic with yourself. That's where self-compassion comes. Step out of yourself and say, okay, this person failed. If somebody failed and they came to me, what would I tell the person? Would I tell the person that I failure? You would want to ask questions like, okay, so why did I fail? What did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? For example, now I just told us that I failed audits 4 or 5 times. Of course, I would tell myself that, Stella, you failed again. But I know why I failed. And if you don't know why, you continually repeat that thing. So the way you can deal with it, like we said, is through the using the positive affirmation, speaking kindly to yourself, saying positive things to yourself, telling yourself that I am worthy and deserving of success. I know I can do it. Stella, you just need to make some effort. You just need to put some effort. Uju, I need to focus more. I need to manage distractions. I need to learn this skill. I need to talk to somebody who has done this before so that I don't repeat the same mistake. If you take all of these steps, I can assure you that you will not make that mistake again. And if you're criticizing yourself extremely, when you achieve success, do you celebrate yourself extremely? Think about the times where you did good. You don't fail every day. No, you are getting something right. You're just not looking at it. Maybe you're looking at the one negative word out of all the positive things. You're just looking at one negative word. Or maybe a senior gave you a feedback that was maybe very harsh. And you just let that, drown you and make you sad. No, you are definitely doing something right. Because for you to even get a job or for you to attain a certain level, you did something right to get there. So you just need to get your power back and tell yourself that if I did this right, I can keep doing this right. I don't know if this has been helpful, Obianuju. And if you maybe want to reach out to me privately, you know that you can always reach out to me. I would respond. Maybe if I can't do a call, I would do a voice notes and drop that. Do we have any other question? Do we have any other question? Okay, thank you, Obianuju. I really, really want to thank everyone for joining. Thank you so much. Don't forget to join boarding, BUDDING. The truth is, I can assure us that if we attend every class that we have during this period, to the end of the year, I can assure you that 2024 is going to be a great year, an amazing year for each and every one of us. An amazing one. After boarding, we also have leverage, things that you can leverage. Then we now talk about your personal branding. I can assure you that the timetable is very great. Through the help of God, we're going to achieve all of this together and we'll shine together. So thank you so much. So in the absence of questions, we can call it a night. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Let me look at our names and appreciate us. You guys are the real MVP. Thank you, Abiola. Thank you, Ajibola. Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chioma. Chioma, my neighbor. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Ima. Thank you, Ima. Thank you, Uju. Uju was really telling me I've not gotten the link. I've not gotten the link. Thank you. Thank you, Abraham, as well. Thank you for reposting. Thank you, Prosper, for reposting. Thank you for joining second class. Thank you, SOS, our sponsor. We really appreciate you. Everyone is so grateful. And if this has been useful to you, please let's keep in touch. Let's stay in touch. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great week. And remember, you are worthy and you deserve every success and every good thing in life. So please raise your head high and have a great week. Bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.